All eyes in the room were on a hidden little boy when he finds a hidden note behind his Christmas present. The world looks a better place when we're surrounded by our loved ones. It's hard to find people who love us wholeheartedly with no terms and conditions applied. Not everyone is lucky enough to have a family and friends. The little guy whose story we're about to tell you struggled to have an ordinary childhood. That's every kid's right. A good home, loving parents, quality education, and lots of fun is what every child deserves. But Carter never got any of these. And when he was getting used to this messed up life, someone started to keep an eye on the 11-year-old boy. All kids are cute, and Carter was one chubby little boy. One of the natures that made him stand out of the crowd was his empathy. Even at the tender age of 11, when he himself struggled in the confused, emotionless life of foster care, he always tried to cheer up people around him. Carter Wiles never had a normal life. During the past 11 years, he was moved to different foster homes from time to time. At first, it was hard for him to get used to the new environment, but now he kind of went with the flow. When a kid grows up in the foster center, they understand the fact that with each passing birthday, the probability of getting a forever home decreases. Why? Couples who enroll in the adoption process almost always look for young babies because they'll be easy to get along with a family. Hardly ever will a family prefer to adopt an 11-year-old boy, and Carter Wiles was somehow now aware of this fact. With no hopes for any bright future, Carter knew there was nothing much to expect from life. Aren't these thoughts a little heavy for an 11-year-old's mind? Yes, they are. However, as they say, humans are born weak, but get stronger when they have no other choice left to make. Likewise, Carter had no other options left. Carter was soon going to enter the teen phase of his life, and not to mention that this is one of the most confusing times for everyone. Even the cute little outspoken ones can turn out to be shy, irritated introverts. And Carter was right at this turning point of life. It is easiest to distract kids at this stage, and even more easy to get them off the right track. Christmas was around the corner, but there was no sign of happiness on Carter's face. Isn't Christmas supposed to be the best time of the year? Many names are never placed under Christmas trees, and Carter knew his name was one of those. Yet this little kid's belief in the Almighty was strong enough to make him wish for a forever home. He didn't ask for a PlayStation or a skateboard, but a home to call his own, and a family to love him as if he'd always been a part of them. This time, Carter was in a foster center of Lancaster, Ohio, when he was called in the head caretaker's room. He thought it would be another moving notice for him because that's why he was called by the head caretaker before. So was that it? Well, that's how it seemed at first, but in reality, the head of the organization really didn't want to inform him about anything. Carter was upset even with the thought of moving to another foster care. The moving process takes a lot of struggle that includes the adjustment process in the new environment and trying to get along with new kids for whom Carter will be a stranger. As he didn't have anything in his control, he followed the orders and walked towards the headroom. The head of the organization just asked Carter to wait outside his office. Carter waited there, wondering what it could possibly be. There was a pin-drop silence in the corridor. Carter could only hear him talking to someone over the phone, unable to understand what it was actually about, and soon he called for the little boy. He called Carter in. Carter, still confused, looked at the phone that he was handed over. This meant that somebody wanted to talk to him, but who could that be? Carter immediately took the cell phone to know who it was. It was Carter's aunt, Leah Kiphart, who lived in nearby town with her family. But what was she calling him for? Carter usually stayed angry with his family members as none of them really cared enough about him. The fact that they pretended as they cared irritated him even more. If they would have cared, then he shouldn't be living a life that he was. When his aunt asked him if he was doing well or not, Carter was uninterested, yet he answered and asked her for the reason behind calling him. His aunt understood his mood and tried to calm him down a bit before she told him what the actual reason was. Leah had invited Carter to spend the holidays with the Kiphart family. Carter didn't want to go and he said no, but his aunt insisted on him being part of the celebration and that his cousins want him to be there to have fun and spend some quality time together. Carter hung up the call after saying that he'll think about it. Carter couldn't sleep that night as he kept on pondering. He later felt that no matter how angry he was with everyone, it was his family. He wanted to be with his cousins. On top of everything else, he really didn't want to spend Christmas at the foster center, so he decided to go to the Kipharts for Christmas. After telling his aunt that he'll be there, Carter packed his small bag. He was waiting in the common area for his uncle to come pick him up. He realized how he always wanted someone to pick him up like this, but not for a few days. Carter was always lost in dreams like this, dreams of having a family that seemed near impossible now. Even if it was just for the holidays, Carter's dream came true. He played games he didn't get to play at the foster center. He had amazing food and played with their pet dog. It was just the type of Christmas any kid would ever think of. But would this happiness last? When he reached his relative's home, it felt like he belonged there. But the fact that he'll have to leave after Christmas was always in the back of his mind. He was just a kid with so much going on. It was stressful, as no matter how hard he tried to live in the present, the fears in the future didn't let him be. We've all heard of the foster life and what happens after it. According to studies, more than 25% of foster children never get a settled life and spend most of their days wandering on the streets within a few years of getting out of foster care. With his growing age, the misfortune was getting closer to Carter. Carter was trying to blend in with the Kip Hart's family for the short duration he was going to be with them. He helped his aunt in the grocery shopping, decorated the Christmas tree with his sisters, listened to his uncle's favorite Christmas playlist with him, played PlayStation with his brothers, and took the dog out for a walk. Carter was the youngest among all his cousins. They loved him, but Carter's fate was completely opposite of theirs. While they had a secure future with their parents taking care of him, Carter didn't even have a permanent home. The Kip Hart family was one of those strong believers of Christmas who literally wait for December 25th throughout the year. They saved to buy presents for their friends and family, they mailed beautiful Christmas cards to everyone they knew, and they enjoyed being together. And this time Carter was with them to celebrate, but not in the recent family photograph. Carter was sitting on the floor near the Christmas tree, and it was time for everyone to open up their presents. The whole Kip Hart family was present there at this moment. They all already opened their gifts, and Carter was the last one to open it. He got a jacket and more. But when he was opening the last present, the entire Kip Hart family's eyes were glued onto him. Noticing that everyone was looking, Carter grew anxious. As he finished unwrapping the gift and opened the box, it was a framed family picture. But why would everyone look at him like that just for a picture? That's when he noticed that it wasn't just any picture. It was a family photo with all the Kip Harts present in it. Carter thought they wanted him to keep it to cherish these days whenever he misses them, and so he smiled and said thank you. But this photo was not to remember the Kip Harts, and Carter would soon realize it as he was about to read the note. With excitement, Carter held the note and started reading it aloud. Before he could even finish reading it, he paused as tears flowed out of his eyes. The note started with Carter, and then it said something unexpected. Here is the most recent picture of our family. All of us would love for you to be in the next picture and for you to be part of our family. Carter, would you like to be a Kip Hart and be our son and brother? This was what he had wished for, with the least expectations of this wish ever being fulfilled. When Carter couldn't hold back his tears, Leah Kip Hart hugged him, and his uncle asked him, "What do you think, buddy? We're gonna adopt you, Carter." Carter couldn't believe that all this time he was there, he didn't get even the slightest idea of what the Kip Harts were planning. Then Carter replied. In order to make him laugh, Carter's uncle said from behind, "Now you can stay here forever. Well, until you're 18, and then I'm kicking your butt out." The little boy smiled with teary eyes and hugged his aunt back, who was from his moment his mother. Carter replied to his uncle by nodding and added, "I want to thank you so much." The thing was that the Kip Harts themselves didn't have it all planned for a long time. In fact, everything happened within the last day. This wasn't planned. We discussed with our other children Sunday night and shared with them Monday morning. This might have been the last time that we were ever going to see Carter, and felt that it was really important for us to keep him in the family. A lot of people talk about how lucky he is. We're just as fortunate to have him join our family, said Leah in an interview. Carter came to us because he'd been having a less than desired home life with his biological family. Carter isn't just the lucky one in all of this. We're blessed to have him as part of us, said Leah, who felt glad to have taken the decision of adopting Carter. He's a good little boy. We all have a lot of adjusting to do and will continue to keep Carter in prayer as he heals and transitions into our family, said Leah, explaining how it will be a challenge to get along with a little boy in the long run, but she's sure that he'll be good.